Hey ladies, welcome or welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at what it truly means to choose yourself and to love yourself. Because we know when you go on your healing journey, you go on a self-love journey, it's more than just the looks, it's more than just the cosmetics. Choosing yourself definitely includes you setting boundaries, you choosing to not allow people to disrespect you, and you choosing to be okay with where you're at in life and work on your improvements. So I won't ramble too much. Let's go ahead and get into the stitches. I hope you enjoy.
Nobody's coming to fix your life. That's your job. For so long, I wanted people to understand my pain, to hold my hand through it, to give me the answers. But I realized no one else is built to carry what's mine to carry. And the truth is, even the most supportive people can't walk your path for you. They can love you, they can guide you, but the actual work, that's between you and yourself. The lessons, the boundaries, the moments of isolation, those are all invitations for you to step deeper into your power. When you start choosing yourself, when you start practicing self-love, when you start really enforcing your boundaries, that is when you begin to see things shift in your life. Literally everything around you begins to shift. It's actually crazy when you think about it, because that's all it takes. You're the only one who can decide to heal. You're the only one who can decide to grow. You're the only one who can decide to rise. Nobody else can do it for you. And that's not something to fear. It's something to celebrate, actually, because you realize that the power has been in your hands all along.
You don't need another self-love affirmation. What you need is a reality check. Because loving yourself starts with radical self-acceptance, which means you gotta be real with yourself. Like admitting that you're selfish, or you have low self-esteem, or your procrastination manifests as anxiety, and your people-pleasing is just burning you out. You have to accept it. Not so you can stay stuck, but so you can heal from where you really are. Because you're not starting from zero. You're starting from a deficit. And if you're honest with yourself about that, then you can make a plan from where you actually are, not where you think you already should be. Moral of the story, you don't need another self-help journal friend. You need to identify, accept, and adjust. And for those of you that are clocking me, this is my second time in the gym this week, so we're already doing better than last week. Thanks. Bye.
You must learn to advocate for yourself on the spot. You ever been in a situation where someone stepped on your toes or said something like out of the way and you didn't check them, you didn't say anything until you got in the car or you got home and say, dang, I should have said this, dang, I should have said that. I recently saw someone who I went to school with, but they're older than me. So we were talking, about life catching up, and they said, yeah, I see you have your little business. Now the old me, I would have waited until I got home, I got in that car and thought about everything that I should have said in that moment, right? But this time, I said, oh, you mean big business? They said, oh, no, I don't mean, no. You meant exactly what you said. But because I advocated for myself on the spot, you're trying to cover it up. People are not always used to that. You must advocate for yourself on the spot. As women, as Black women, you must stand up for yourself. It doesn't matter where you are. Do it professionally. Do it kind. Do it nice. I didn't do it with an attitude. I said, oh, you mean big business? I wasn't nasty, but you must stand up for yourself. Have a backbone for yourself. It is super important. It is super duper important.
Contrary to what everybody may believe, learning to love yourself is not gaslighting the fuck out of yourself into believing that you're the greatest thing that has ever walked this earth. Let me explain. My name is Madison. I am a trauma-informed occult practitioner and a traditional Hellenistic astrologer. I was also raised by a violent, abusive, alcoholic parent and another one that didn't give a fuck about me, and so therefore I spent the majority of my life in therapy and or trying to heal myself, so I think I know a thing or two about these things. Learning to love yourself is not gaslighting yourself. No, actually. It's learning to integrate the parts that you fucking hate about yourself. You did some fucked up shit in the past? Okay, it's time for you to go there and look yourself in the eyes, take accountability, hold space for that part of you, be compassionate, change your behavior. Don't just say you're gonna do it, actually do it. Learning to love yourself is shaking hands with the parts of you that did things you would no longer do now. Not turning the other eye and just saying, oh, today's a new day. No, you need to face that shit. You need to take accountability. You need to own up for it. You need to do real behavior change. You need to really hold yourself accountable. Do the fucking hard work. Learning to love yourself is also sitting with the parts of yourselves that were victimized, where you created this relationship to shame, and you told yourself that what you endured and what you experienced was your fault. You need to go back and sit with yourself, and you need to tell yourself, no, that's not the truth. Here is the truth, and you need to actually believe that.
I used to suffer from a lack of self-love, and I get a lot of compliments on my confidence now. So I'm going to give you 2 ways that I learned how to love myself more. So number 1, it's very simple. When I'm hungry, I eat. When I'm tired, I rest. Rest is not a privilege, it's your birthright. When something bothers me, I speak up for myself. It's just that simple. People that tend to endure trauma, psychological warfare, mental abuse, sexual abuse, a lack of self-love is typically a trauma response. It's a remnant from your past life, okay? Because people attack what they're intimidated by. And if you're anything like me, the world had convinced me that I was not good enough. I used to get severely bullied. I was raised by 3 narcissists. And people were just hell-bent on constantly, every chance that they got, trying to make me feel like I wasn't good enough. So I had to intentionally learn how to love myself and build myself from the ground up. And one of my first steps was just simply honoring myself, eating when I'm hungry, resting when I'm tired, speaking up for myself, and listening to my body. You have to develop that relationship with your body again, because you totally destroyed it once you started to abandon yourself. Number 2, I speak to myself like I'm a child. For example, if I was to just drop this plate, I would be like, mistakes happen, it's okay, we have more food, I'll make you more food, baby. You have to nurture your inner child, because I was severely beaten as a child. If I would have dropped this plate, I would have got dropped. So I have to give myself gentle, caring, love, patience, and grace that I wasn't awarded as a child. Everything that you were deprived of, you have to become the parent now. That's how you learn how to love yourself, by honoring your inner child, by honoring all past versions of you, by simply just cooking with love, because you're teaching yourself, I'm worthy of a nice breakfast. I'm worthy of the time and patience that it takes for me to make a nice breakfast. I'm worthy of patience. I'm worthy of love. I'm worthy of gentle redirection. You don't have to yell at yourself or bully yourself into healing. Give yourself grace. This is your first time meeting this version of you. Thank you for watching my video. Bye. Happy healing.
Most women think self-love is bubble baths, journaling, and saying cute affirmations in the mirror. But real self-love is cutting the cord on anybody who drains you. It's who you stop texting back. It's who you don't explain yourself to. It's the silent decision that you make when nobody's watching. When you choose peace over performance. I'm not just a woman who preaches softness, I live it. And I help women who are secretly tired of overgiving step into a life where they're deeply respected, adored, and poured into. Because here's the truth. Be the woman who protects her access, and you'll never have to beg for energy, love, or effort ever again. You don't need 1,000 boundaries. You just need to remember who you are. The version of you that doesn't chase and that doesn't overextend herself. She's not afraid to disappoint anybody who benefits from her not knowing her worth. Even if you've been a people pleaser your whole life, even if you're scared, they'll say, oh my gosh, you've changed. Good. Let them talk and let them recognize the shift, because self-love isn't loud. It's not a trend. It's a quiet decision to stop giving premium access to people who treat you like a free trial. That's the shift, and that's the standard.
First and foremost, there's nothing wrong with encouraging women to love themselves in and of itself. Self-love is amazing. Self-love is powerful, and self-love can improve your quality of life altogether. I agree with that. The issue that I have with this advice is that she wasn't solely talking about self-love. She was talking about self-love in relation to why you're not partnered yet. And to me, that's problematic. If we're going to encourage the girls to love themselves, let's encourage the girls to love themselves because they are worthy of their own love. Let's not attach it to an end goal. Let's not attach it to a desired outcome, because when you do that, you then take the act of self-love out of it being about self and it then being about a desired outcome. And in the podcast clip that I saw, she said that if it's not happening yet, as far as if you haven't found your person yet, then you're not there yet in your self-love journey. And that to me is very dangerous rhetoric, because it can easily send the message that you shouldn't love yourself for you, but you should love yourself in the hopes of getting with somebody or getting with a man. And that takes a person out of the centering of self, and it centers an optimized or desired goal or outcome. That's dangerous.
The quality of your self-love dictates the quality of your life. What you tolerate versus what you don't, what and who you allow in your life, whether or not you feel like you're worthy enough to assert your needs, even though it might make someone else angry. All of those things, plus a whole lot more, can change the trajectory of your life. And you have to love yourself to a certain level in order to require more. Unfortunately, I am speaking from experience. I have allowed some crazy things to transpire in my life, but in hindsight, it's because I did not feel very good about myself. My insecurities ran my life. I was very much used to less than the bare minimum from men, so I never required any more than that. It wasn't until I truly start to work on myself and see myself for who I am without sugarcoating that I was able to really make some changes in my life. And now those standards are so high, I can barely reach them. And I'm not gonna lie, that's because I'm still on the journey of understanding that I deserve these things. But for me, change could not happen until I realized that what my life looked like externally had everything to do with how I felt internally. So sister, if you want to change your life, work on that self-love. I promise you, if that improves, everything else will.
There's so much talk around self-love, the mantras, the buzzwords, the phrases, but there's no real model for what self-love actually looks like. And I would argue that one of the very first pillars to measure how much somebody loves themselves is in how they talk to themselves. How chaotic is their headspace in terms of their inner voice? How do they console themselves when things happen? Let's say you drop something in the kitchen, or let's say you're derailed from your path for a second. Is there shame, blame, and guilt? Or is it just like, hey, I'm going to take accountability, but I will not judge myself to the point of this crippling, oh my gosh, look what I did. And naturally, these voices are imprinted onto us by the people who raised us or the people we were around during our upbringing. But the people who made the conscious effort to deconstruct all of that to the point that it's like, listen, I know I'm a person. It's okay. What happened, happened. Let's move on. They're just gentle with themselves. They're very kind to themselves. And they almost treat themselves like they're their own child, right? They console themselves very gently. They're kind, loving. Quite literally, they talk to themselves, especially in times of angst or just heavy emotion. They talk to themselves very gently as if they were truly their own child. And I think self-love in this sense, in terms of a healthy inner voice, is almost the foundation for self-respect as well. Because imagine this, right? Let's say you love yourself, you respect yourself. Somebody comes into your life and they talking to you crazy. They trying to disrespect you, all this extraness. And you've built this wonderful relationship to yourself. So now this person comes in, and if you allow that treatment, both of y'all are feeling it. The person who you've built the relationship to, and you, the person experiencing this life. And so it feels like an act of betrayal to let somebody walk in and try to shift the nature of your relationship to that person. Because what happens is you internalize. Whether we believe it or not, we internalize disrespect that we endure, that we allow. We internalize it a bit. But the person who respects themselves and loves themselves, and it's very clear in the way that they talk to themselves, it will feel like an act of betrayal to the point of which I'm not going for that. I built this shit brick by brick. Me. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to tear down my years of hard work. That's why you see the people who truly love themselves and respect themselves, they have a very low tolerance for bullshit, for disrespect from other people, because you're not going to talk to me like that. I don't even talk to myself like that. You know what I'm saying? I can. It's me. Like, we like this. But you? Absolutely not. There's a very low tolerance for disrespect, and they have no problem walking away because you're not about to sabotage my hard work, the years of peace, of love, of respect that I've built. And so if you are somebody who's trying to build that self-love and that self-respect and to become a person who just is very clear in the way they walk and the way they talk and how they look and how they carry themselves, that they love themselves, work on your inner voice. Work on how you speak to yourself. When things occur, no matter how heavy, work on not attacking yourself. Work on not berating yourself, regardless of how you were raised. And it's going to take some time, a lot of conscious work, a lot of rewriting the scripts that were ingrained into you. but it's going to
Keep your promises to yourself. The more you keep promises to yourself, the more your brain respects your visions for your life. Success starts with the vision. You see it first in your mind. So as you keep promises to yourself that align with the vision, you are programming yourself to achieve what you desire. When you say you're going to do something for yourself, do it. You are building trust and confidence in yourself to show up for the most important person in your life, which is you.
A truth that freed me is that you will never really learn who you are while you are constantly trying to be appeasing to everybody else. People are going to have all types of desires and requirements and things that they want from you in general. And sometimes those things aren't going to be in alignment with where you are at the time. Sometimes you just don't have the capacity for it. But if you're constantly one of those people that just feels the need to push yourself past your capacity to show up for other people, yeah, number one, odds are you haven't really learned who you are yet, and you don't really love yourself just yet. You haven't really honored your boundaries yet. You haven't really learned your self-worth yet. And I'm saying this from experience. It's not me trying to come down on nobody. I'm learning these things as I go as well. But if you keep trying to shape shift into, turn into a chameleon, blend into whatever environment, whatever need might be going on at that time, and always trying to jump into that role of fulfilling that need, the needs that are going to consistently not be met are yours. Yeah, that is a truth that has truly freed me. I don't have to shape shift. The ones that love me, that see me, that value me, they're going to do that regardless of what my capacity is at that time. They're not going to want me to have a seat at the table because of what I necessarily bring to the table. They're going to want me to have a seat at the table because they want me to have a seat at the table. They care about me. They want me close by, But it doesn't necessarily mean that I always have to have something to bring, something to offer. They value the connection itself. If you're consistently having to push yourself past your boundaries, past your capacity to show up for other people, they're always expecting that of you. They treat you different if you don't. Those just aren't your people. And you have to understand that being around your people, the people that you are truly in alignment with, that is so much more important than just having a whole bunch of random ass, raggedy ass people around you. Not everybody needs to be around you like that. You have to learn how to honor yourself first. Take care of what your needs are first. Learn what your needs are first. And make sure that you are prioritizing your needs, because nobody is going to prioritize you like you. I love you.
Do you not love yourself? I'm 50 years old. Let me save you a little bit of time. Let's start off with rule number 1. You need to stop caring what other people think. It's as simple as this. All of us are experiencing pain. All of us are experiencing something, some of which the same, and some of which in our own way. When you begin to understand that we are all on the same playing field, we are all characters in this same video game. There might be people that are presenting themselves as ahead of you or that have more than you. No one's really ahead of anyone else because it's your story, not anyone else's. Some people have things that we don't have, and we have things that other people don't have. Start romanticizing where you're at and what you have. What are your qualities? What are your gifts? What are your secrets? Rule number 2. Go into an isolation period. For those of you who aren't getting what I'm about to say, just scroll. If you are not willing to invest in yourself and walk away from the things that are not serving you, or better yet, just take a risk and change. That means walk away from your job, from your family, from your children, from your relationship, from whatever, from your addictions. Set aside some time to actually sit with nothing else except for yourself and your thoughts. And I don't mean to isolate for an hour and do a meditation. I mean to isolate, to clear away your foundation and start over. I would recommend 6 months, but again, you will find what works best for you. You're not confident in who you are because you don't even know who you are. You know who you are in extension of these things. Who you are as that friend, as that daughter, as that son, as that parent, as that lover. Who are you? Who are you before all of this took place? And who will you be afterwards? Last tip, own the things that make you an individual. It is a gift to stand out. And yes, we are all different, but not all of us stand out. Because again, some of us are too afraid to take that risk, to put ourselves out there authentically, and to step into our individuality. Wear what you want to wear, even if it doesn't make sense to the function. Quit that job even if you just got it and your parents are saying it doesn't make sense. Walk away from that relationship if it doesn't make sense to your friends. You aren't supposed to make sense. That is not your job on this world. Your only job is to let your heart decide all of these things for you. It's going to pull you towards where you're meant to be. So wipe those tears, get up, and start doing the things that everyone else out here is too afraid to do in order to start taking care of yourself. And if you need more help, my spiritual roadmap to healing and transformation is linked in my bio.